morning, Indonesia. It's Christina, and today we will have this academia talk. First, I would like to ask whether there's one of you who's feeling anxious. Are you feeling anxious recently? And why are you feeling so? Did you just read some books or just a short message? Why is it, fellow audiences? Well, there's something called FLRA, or Foreign Language Reading Anxiety. This happens when anxiety affects your English reading projects. To better understand this event, we will talk with Professor Andreas and Professor Supri. They are the top researchers who have done a study in this field for years. First, we have Professor Supri Lassi. He teaches psychology in one of universities in Indonesia. And second is Professor Andreas Immanuel. He teaches reading for research in one of universities in Indonesia. Please welcome them. All right, hello, professors.
Hello.
Yes, so we have known your work published everywhere, and it helps the teachers and other researchers. But first, professors, how's life? Are you doing great? Mainly in this pandemic era. How are you?
Yeah, hello, Christina. Thank you for having us to your great show. So far, I'm doing good.
Yeah, thank you, Christina, for
Yeah,
having us. And maybe not say good, but I'm quite good because I affected Corona lately, but now I'm feeling healthy.
Hmm, great. Oh well, I really hope that you're in good conditions. But I would like to know, since we're here in this virtual talk, are you in the same city or somewhere else?
No. We are from a different university. I'm from Gajah Mada University at Jogja, and Supri.
and I am now living in Sumatra. I'm teaching in uh, Santo Thomas University. Yeah.
Oh, all right. You're so far from each other's, but yet you still, having this study, and it's a big hit, in this education world. Great. All right. Today, here, we would like to know more about your recent study, and me and the audiences. We would like to understand the academia in a simplified version. First, um, we would like to know what inspires you to do this study.
So thank you, Christina. I think this is the interesting opening question, right? So our conducted for this study because of the anxiety for every student to learn a foreign language or a second language, so that their learning becomes negative. Even in reading, they have foreign language anxiety. And in our previous study, it's found that students, especially those majoring in theology, did not have high willingness to read. That's why we take this research, Christina.
All right. Um, well, we have known the fact that you contribute to many studies in this field. But why did you do this recent hit study?
Okay, like Supri mentioned before about the what inspire us, and so I will tell you about the purpose of the study. So the purpose of the study is there is two purposes. The first one is what factors do theology students believe contribute to their anxiety in reading? And then the second proposes is what strategies do ESP for theology students believe may help reduce their anxiety in reading?
All right. So I heard that you mentioned ESP. What exactly is ESP?
Okay, so ESP it was English for specific purposes. It was
All
ESP.
right. So, well, it's different from what people learn. I mean, when people learn, it's sometimes they learn the general, right? But this is for specific purposes, specific things. All right. So, therefore, you conducted the study. It was because you want to get deeper information from the participants. What a reason! I see that you also wanted to find what influenced them in this reading and anxiety, not forgetting how to overcome the problem. Brilliant! Professors, if we may know, how many participants were involved here?
Yeah, well, Christina, in this study, we selected four participants, and all of them were male, including three people who had high FLRE and one person who had a low FLRE. And the four of them are studying in their fourth semester in a theology study program. And when we did our research, they were taking an English for theology course. For your information, actually we need at least 10 uh, participants, but because right now the coronavirus is going on, we just interview for participants. Yeah.
Oh, right, great. So there were four participants from theology department with different levels of anxiety. That was amazing. I mean, although the pandemic hit, these studies still managed to be done. And how did you get the data?
Okay, so now I will explain the methods that we use to collecting the data. Like Supri was mentioned before, we doing an interview to four participants, and the interviews were conducted in the Indonesian language as the language the participants were most familiar with to allow elaborate response from participants. The result of the interview was transcribed and translated into English. Furthermore, coding was used to organize the data systematically and meaningfully. Semantic analysis was implied to find occurring themes per the research questions.
Oh, great. Well, you mentioned thematic analysis. What exactly is that, Professor?
Okay, so semantic analysis, it was like I mentioned before, we interview the participant one by one. We're asking the same questions, and the semantic analysis, it was when we collecting or taking notes from their answer, and then we're looking for the common answers and the major answers, and then we combine it together, and then yeah, we give it to the study.
Okay. Um, was the interview done online?
Interview was through online because due to the pandemic.
Okay. All right. I see that you interviewed them one by one online, and it must be with their concerns. Then you code the data further for, you know, using thematic analysis. And the results are
Yeah. Our main findings from this study, that is from the three participants who had high FLRA, we found that they lacked confidence and were afraid to make mistake. So they had anxiety in reading. They feel low self-esteem and think that their vocabulary is still low. They are also insecure and their motivation reading is low. So they stop reading because of their negative thoughts. And the teachers use many kinds of strategies. And one of the strategies is by making a vocabulary card so that they can remember new vocabulary from their reading. In this way, students can improve their own language competency. Yeah, that's our main findings from our research, Christina.
wow. What a result! You found five factors and one simple yet effective way to tackle the
Yeah.
problems. And from all this talk, your study once again has contributed something new to the education field, especially the English as foreign language. So, what are your contributions?
Okay, okay. So the contribution of our study to language teaching is, the first one is the role of teaching methods and low self-perceived language competence in affecting learners' FLRA or foreign language reading anxiety. And the first study that offers comprehensive picture through qualitative perspective about FLRA experience by EAP university students, especially at theology department. Cooperative learning activities could also minimize the possibility of peer comparison and thus minimize learners feeling inferior.
Hmm, it's such, not a few contributions. It's so much. That's big contribution. And it's really helpful. And well, furthermore, what do you suggest about this study to future researchers?
Yeah. Professor Andreas Immanuel and me, we have suggestions for the future studies. First, it may be desirable to conduct a more in-depth study of teachers' approaches and peer support from students' reading anxiety. Such studies might make use a combination of several class observation, teacher and student interviews, and students' periodic comments on those three elements. And secondly, because motivation to read has been shown to influence learners' reading anxiety, it may be prudent to perform a large scale quantitative study exploring the role of motivation to read on learners' reading anxiety levels. And other research should have more participants from various levels of FLRA. That's our hope, and also that our suggestions for the next study, Christina.
Okay. What sort of suggestions we have here? So, our fellow audiences, if you want to conduct the study or continue the study, if you're so curious, they have mentioned some ways, some suggestions for you to follow. It's you should have a more participants if you want to continue the study. So it will be, the best result you will get later. All right. Thank you, professors, for unraveling things with us. The audiences and I surely get something to think now. Well, hopefully, we won't be so anxious again while reading English, or that we have known the factors and we got the reading strategy and the example, I mean, the vocabulary list to fix it. Well, for the audiences, these two top researchers are now researching another study in another noble project. You can help them by donating. Visit their website at nunusub.com for further information and their upcoming projects. Thank you so much for sharing, Professors Andreas and Professor Supri.
Yeah, thank you, Christina, for having us.
Yeah, thank you, Christina, for having us.
Yeah, we're so grateful to listen. Thank you for having this talk. Now, fellows, thank you for having me and having us. Now, this is the time we bid farewell. Read more, use reading strategy, anxious less. I, Christina, am saying goodbye for now. See you another time, another chance. Bye bye.